What if one small habit, just a few minutes at a doctor's clinic every now and then, could add years to your life? Not just years, but healthy, mobile, mentally sharp, and emotionally connected years. In the quiet corridors of countless hospitals and family clinics, stories unfold, everyday stories that could have had different endings if only someone had gone for a health checkup just a little sooner. It's not fear that drives this conversation, it's love. Love for life, for family, for freedom, and for the dignity that every elderly person deserves. As we age, the body becomes a delicate orchestra. The heart, bones, liver, kidneys, memory, and hormones, all playing together, but more prone to going out of tune. You may feel fine, you may even walk without effort, laugh with grandchildren, or cook your favorite meal. But beneath that surface, slow changes might be taking place, quiet and painless, until they suddenly demand attention. And sometimes, when they do, it's too late for prevention. In countries like the United States, the UK, and across Europe, millions of seniors develop chronic illnesses not because they were unavoidable, but because they weren't detected in time. High blood pressure doesn't knock before it enters. Type 2 diabetes may remain hidden for years, silently damaging eyes, kidneys, and nerves. Osteoporosis won't show its face until a hip breaks from a minor fall. Colon cancer, caught early, is highly treatable, but most cases are diagnosed when it has already spread. The message here isn't one of fear, but of opportunity. Medical science has gifted us with tools, blood tests, imaging, memory screenings, bone density scans that can catch early warning signs before symptoms appear. Yet the tragedy is not the lack of technology, it's the delay in using it. Many seniors avoid checkups, thinking, "I'm feeling fine," or "I don't want to be a burden," or "I've lived long enough." But those thoughts can rob not only years from your life, but also rob your loved ones of time with you. Doctors across the world recommend that seniors over 60 undergo regular health checkups at least once a year, with some specific tests done more frequently depending on personal risk factors. For example, a person with a family history of heart disease or cancer may require more frequent screenings. Blood pressure should be checked every visit, cholesterol levels at least once a year, and blood sugar every 3 to 6 months if there's any risk of diabetes. Vision and hearing should be assessed annually, especially since subtle changes often go unnoticed. A full risk assessment could be life-saving for someone who seems steady today, but has slowly weakening leg muscles or balance issues. In countries with advanced healthcare systems like Germany, France, or Australia, checkups are often covered or subsidized. But even in places where healthcare costs more, many communities offer free screenings through clinics or senior centers. The challenge isn't always access, it's awareness. One true story that continues to move many physicians is of an 82-year-old man in Toronto who came for a routine checkup only because his granddaughter insisted. The doctor noticed slight slurring in his speech and sent him for a quick brain scan. It turned out he was in the very early stages of a stroke. Treatment began immediately, and he fully recovered. He still plays piano today. The checkup saved his music, his independence, and possibly his life. Many seniors say they don't want to know if something's wrong, but knowing gives power. It gives choices, it gives time to prepare and to treat. Preventive care isn't about finding disease, about protecting life. It's not about hospitals, it's about staying out of them. We must begin thinking of health checkups not as visits to the doctor, but as acts of self-respect. They are gifts we give to ourselves and to those who love us. Whether you are in Paris or Pittsburgh, Rome or Sydney, the biology of aging doesn't change, but your story can, your outcome can, your future can. So the question is no longer whether seniors should get regular checkups. The real question is, can we afford not to? ***. We often talk about aging as a natural process, and indeed, it is. But what is often overlooked is that aging gracefully isn't just a matter of luck, it's a result of choices, vigilance, and proactive care. In today's world, where medical science has advanced to such incredible levels, no one needs to accept illness or physical decline as an inevitable part of growing older. A large part of preserving health after 60 is catching small problems before they become big ones, and that's where timely health checkups make all the difference. Many people mistakenly believe that if they're not experiencing any obvious symptoms, there's no need to see a doctor, but the reality is, many of the most serious health conditions that affect older adults like heart disease, kidney failure, some cancers, and cognitive decline often begin silently. They don't announce themselves with pain or discomfort in their early stages. These conditions grow slowly, silently, sometimes over years, until one day they show up with a crisis, a heart attack, a stroke, a fracture from a fall. The heartbreaking part is that in many of these cases, a simple routine checkup could have caught the early warning signs and changed the course of that person's life. Medical experts across North America and Europe have consistently emphasized the importance of structured, age-appropriate screenings. For instance, in people over the age of 60, routine checks for blood pressure and cholesterol can drastically reduce the risk of stroke and heart attacks. Colonoscopies, though unpleasant to think about, can detect polyps before they become cancerous. Mammograms and prostate exams, depending on individual risk, can prevent the devastation of late-stage diagnoses. Even memory assessments for those over 70 can identify the beginning of cognitive decline, allowing for earlier support and planning. Let's not forget the role of the immune system. As we age, our body's defenses weaken, which is why older adults are more susceptible to infections like influenza or pneumonia. Annual flu shots and periodic pneumococcal vaccines are simple, preventive measures that have saved countless lives across the globe. But how often are these vaccines overlooked simply because someone hasn't had a recent checkup? A brief visit to a healthcare provider can ensure these essentials aren't missed. Then there's the emotional and psychological side of aging, which is just as important as physical health. Depression and loneliness are silent burdens carried by many seniors. These don't always present with tears or words. Sometimes, it's just a loss of appetite, sleep issues, or irritability. A good doctor, during a routine visit, can pick up on these subtle signs and offer support, therapy, or referrals that improve not just lifespan, but quality of life. For example, in France and Germany, there has been growing integration of mental health screenings into routine care for seniors, with promising results in reducing elderly suicide rates and improving overall well-being. One particular case stands out from a small town in Italy. An elderly woman named Rosetta, 76 years old, had always been energetic and involved in her community. But she hadn't seen a doctor in 3 years because she felt fine. Her daughter finally persuaded her to visit a local clinic. During the checkup, her doctor detected an irregular heartbeat, atrial fibrillation. She was completely unaware of it. Left untreated, it could have led to a stroke at any time. With a simple medication and monitoring plan, Rosetta not only avoided a potentially devastating stroke, but she also felt more energized, more mentally focused. The quiet danger had been stopped before it became a storm. Stories like Rosetta's are not rare. They are everywhere in London, Berlin, Montreal, and Melbourne. And the lesson is universal. Age does not have to be a slow surrender to disease. Health is not just the absence of symptoms, but the presence of vigilance. Checkups are not interruptions in life. They are investments in living it fully. Ultimately, growing older is not about counting the years, but making the years count. A timely checkup is a reminder that life still holds value, purpose, and possibility, no matter the number on your birthday cake. There is strength in knowing, in facing the truth, in taking control of your health with wisdom and courage, and in that strength lies the power to shape your own future even in your 70s, 80s, and beyond. There's a moment that comes for nearly every family, the moment when a small health scare in an elderly loved one suddenly becomes a wake-up call. It might be a fall while getting out of bed, a fainting spell during a family dinner, or forgetting familiar names during a conversation. These moments feel sudden, but they rarely are. They are often the result of small, gradual changes in health that went unnoticed for too long, and they are precisely why regular health checkups for seniors aren't just important, they're essential. Growing older is a journey full of wisdom, reflection, and connection, but it also requires a deeper understanding of how the body changes. Over time, muscles weaken, bones lose density. The heart works a little harder, and memory might begin to fade. These changes don't mean life is over, they mean we need to be more attentive, more deliberate, and more compassionate with how we care for ourselves. A simple checkup can mean the difference between catching something early, or facing it when it's already complicated. Let's consider the case of Mr. Harold, a retired schoolteacher in Manchester. He lived an active life, walked daily, and prided himself on never needing medication. For years, he avoided doctors. One day, during a casual walk with his grandson, he stumbled and couldn't remember what year it was. That prompted his family to take him in for a checkup. What they found was early-stage vascular dementia and dangerously high blood pressure. With medication, therapy, and monitoring, Harold didn't just survive, he thrived for another years with clarity and independence. The checkup gave him back time, Medical professionals around the world agree that routine health screenings are crucial for adults over 60. These screenings include monitoring blood pressure, cholesterol, blood sugar, kidney and liver function, vision, hearing, bone density, cancer screenings, and mental health evaluations. In the United Kingdom, the NHS offers annual health checks for those over 65, and similar programs exist in France, Germany, and Canada. Yet many seniors still miss appointments or are unaware of what they need. That's why education is just as important as access. Many seniors avoid checkups because they're afraid of what might be found. But ignorance doesn't stop a disease from progressing, it only stops us from treating it early. The truth is, early detection almost always leads to better outcomes. Diabetes caught early can be reversed or controlled. A small tumor can be removed before it spreads. An irregular heartbeat can be managed to prevent a stroke. These are real, everyday victories happening in clinics and hospitals across the globe. There's also an emotional side to regular checkups that is often overlooked. For many seniors, especially those living alone, visiting a doctor is one of the few moments when they are truly listened to, when someone pays close attention to their body and their well-being. That kind of care has value beyond medical results. It tells the person, you matter, your life matters. In Italy, a study conducted by geriatricians showed that seniors who regularly visited their doctor felt more confident, less anxious, and were more likely to engage in physical activity and social interactions. Health checkups didn't just add years to their life, they added life to their years. Aging should be embraced with dignity, not fear. And checkups are one of the best tools we have to do that. They are not a sign of weakness, they are a declaration of strength. Choosing to check on your health is choosing to protect your independence, your memories, your moments with grandchildren, your morning walks, and your evening stories. It's choosing to live with awareness, not avoidance. If you've been putting off that appointment, or if someone you love hasn't had a checkup in over a year, now is the time. A gentle reminder, a caring conversation, or even scheduling the visit together can make all the difference. And if you're someone who cares about the health and dignity of our seniors, then this message matters. For more helpful guidance like this, real-life stories, expert advice, and inspiring tools to live healthier after 60, make sure you subscribe to the Elderly Health Path YouTube channel. We're here to walk this journey with you with compassion, science, and care every step of the way.